Hello, my name is David Luna, and today is June 1st, 2022. A lot of you may know me as the Great Luna 8713. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my personal experiences with the Spider Tanks MayMayhem competition. A few of you have already seen my week 1 frustrations in the lack of clarity of what the rules were and them changing the rules throughout the week in the competition. So that's one thing that I didn't necessarily agree with. It wasn't a complete loss. I was still rewarded $196 in Gala coin, even though I dumped a little bit after that, but I haven't sold it, so it doesn't matter. And one thing that I can say is as week 2 approached, things seemed to get a little bit better in that the moderators were listening to the community's concerns. But then a new set of problems came because week 2 was the individual competition. We were scored on our highest individual score, and people that play this game or that were playing this game every day learned to recognize each other, and there were some unrecognizable names and people in the leaderboards that were highly questionable because their scores were like just through the roofs. It just they seemed very unlikely. It suggested that there might have been some sort of collusion or vulnerability that had been exposed. But I do commend the Gala and Spider Tanks teams because they did take a while and they amended the leaderboards because there was people that had been rewarded for duplicate accounts, and they were found to be cheating in different ways. And also, there was inconsistencies that didn't line up that they try to make right. So I give props to the Spider Tanks team for trying to do that. Week 3 came along. So for week 2, I won $100, so I'm about $300 in, right? Week 3 came along. You had to play a minimum of 20 games, a team-based competition, and depending on the NFT rarity that you use, that's how you would be rewarded. And surprisingly, this week, the third week, I ended up doing my best, even though I don't have a team, and I kind of talk smack to people that are on teams to kind of get the gears rolling. I'm always talking smack to them, saying that they're not that good, but they are kind of good. I'll give them that a little bit. But yeah, I actually did pretty good. I did my best. I won $700. I was able to score $500 one day in the top like 50 or something because I was using one of my rare NFTs to play. So that was kind of cool, and I appreciated that. And so they were listening to the community. They did try to eliminate bots from being rewarded, competition rewards, which was great. And they were trying to also disqualify people using AFKs, because if you were on a team with the person using an AFK away from keyboard script, and this script is having this bot just shoot at the wall, you wouldn't want to be working with that person because it's an automated script, right? Or however they do it. I'm not a programmer, but I can imagine, and I give them that. Today Gala also announced that they're teaming up with Chainlink, and they are going to be using their VRF, their verifiable randomizer, for minting NFT drops, which is great. And actually, I just participated in the Fuzzle NFT drop, so I'm kind of hoping that that was already in the works, or that it was already being utilized to verify that it was actually randomized, because it would suck now that they would tell us to find this out later that it wasn't actually randomized, or someone was able to expose it like the Miranda's boxes were not so long ago. So I'm happy that Gala's definitely moving in the right direction. Week 4 was moved further down the line because I believe they probably were overwhelmed figuring out how to identify these bots. So the good thing about the month of Mayhem was that it was like a test round for the Spider Tanks team, right? It made them realize or recognize that there was problems with bots and AFKs and people exploiting their program so that they can profit from it. And I'm happy that they're working to eliminate that. I give them props to them. I was also a little bit upset in my first video that the landowners weren't being rewarded for anything, but today they also dropped skin for us. So I appreciated that. So I got a rare basilisk skin that gives me extra strength, and I'll definitely post it so you guys can take a look at it. I think it's kind of cool. They kind of shut me up with that, and there's still things going on for the Mayhem competition, even though the month of May is over with. I just think that they got a little bit backed up, and I'm looking forward to the tournament. I'll try to do another video after that. Also, Mirandis also just announced that they're going to be trying to have their Wheel of Fortune ready to go by Friday. So that's another thing that I'm going to be looking forward to. Thank you, Gala. Thank you for the NFT drops, the minting, the collaboration with Chainlink's BRF. I think it's going to be great for our community. I appreciate it. A suggestion that I have is to potentially provide us with high resolution PNG so that content creators like myself can create media content that will promote these platforms. Fuzzle just did it, and I was able to make a tremendous amount of content for their content contest, and I loved it. I actually enjoyed it. I felt inspired by it, and I'm inspired so much that I'm even making a video right now, right? So that's one thing that I can appreciate about this whole experience, is that even though the developers haven't been as involved in communicating as maybe they should be, or we think that they should be, the moderators are there, and they help me figure out how to report bugs and how to figure out things that weren't working out exactly, so that they could work on it and get to the bottom of it. And I appreciate that. Another suggestion that I have is that I follow the Decentraland Ice Poker development team on Discord as well, and they actually published today a post describing how 90% of their user base are people that have delegated NFTs, and how this has caused their ICE token to really not be able to hold any floor price, to just tank, right? Because there's no incentive to hold on to it. So they're gonna be launching a thing where they're gonna lock your earnings if you have a delegated NFT, and you're not gonna be able to withdraw this money within a period of time unless you're gonna be minting it or for another utility way of burning it that would only increase its value and not take away from it. So I challenged the Spider Tanks and the Gala developers to think up of ways to incentivize delegated players to not dump their earnings, right? I believe that it's definitely a plausible problem that we could potentially be coming across in the near future. So I know that a lot of people are frustrated. Our emotions are high. We really have invested a lot into these teams, but at the same time, before I even invested in Peter Molyneux's legacy, I knew that he had at least been working on that game since 2018. So games take a long time, and I would rather that they take their time to work through the bugs, and so that things come out right and keep their retain their value, because it would suck if they were to rush through it only for us to come across problems like the coins that we're earning not being valuable because of people dumping it or exploiting a bug that they weren't able to identify before.